Hi Hayet, we heard about your terrible date experience and we're so sorry he was such a jerk. So in honor of that experience, we're gonna tell you some of our bad date stories. I'll go first. So this is when I was living in Chicago, which you know very well, and I was meeting this guy from OkCupid, and he suggested we go to the Violet Hour, which at the time I was working in retail and making no money. I was making like $10 an hour. And so the Violet Hour, I'm like, $15 cocktails, like, whoa, but okay. So I went. He was a total jerk the entire time. He talked down to me, he belittled me, he made fun of me for never having left the country at the time. I'd never traveled internationally, and he was like, I just don't understand why somebody wouldn't value learning about other cultures. And I'm like, you think I don't want to travel internationally? I'm broke. And he had no clue that some people don't live their lives like that. This whole thing happened. He kept ordering more and more drinks. And then at the end, when the check came, he's like, so I guess your share is like 75, which I could not afford. And by the way, did I mention he was an investment banker? And I made $10 an hour in retail. Needless to say, never saw him again.
Mine is, it was my first ever OkCupid date. So I was a little fledgling baby bird in online dating, and the guy stood me up. I waited for an hour, and then he texted me hours later that he had had a date before mine that had gone really well and just ended. And so that he was so sorry I had really dodged a bullet, which like agreed.
So a friend set me up on a date, and I meet up with him at a gallery. And I guess he didn't think that it was a date because he invited a friend that he was canoodling with at the time, you know, real canoodling. So I didn't know this, I don't know them. We all hang out, and she gets really drunk, and then it turns into this masquerade. She winds up taking off her underwear in the middle of the street. He like picks up her underwear, like pretends to like throw it and lose it, and then they fight in the middle of the street, and then we all wind up at a bar, and she just like is like crumped, and she just pulls me in the corner. She goes, "Don't sleep with him." I'm like, I don't know any of you. Like, she's like, this guy is like, just sleeps with me and like leaves me and I'm just like, why are you even here then? So I put her in a cab, and that was just like the weird, anyway, so that was a date. That's a date.
I had a really similar experience to yours. I was supposed to meet a guy for ice cream. He named the place, and I said, okay, I'll see you there in 15 minutes. When I showed up, he wasn't there, and he hadn't texted back, and I checked Tinder, and he had unmatched me, so I guess he didn't want to eat ice cream with me.
I met this guy after SantaCon at a bar, and it was late, and he seemed like cute and nice. My friend said he looked like Leonardo DiCaprio, so she was like, you have to go on a date with him. So I ended up going on a date with him, and it turns out he didn't drink, which is fine, but we went on the date, and like he showed up late because he had just woken up from a nap, and he could barely like speak, and it was very bizarre, and he was wearing this like massive Heirloom coat that wasn't cool, and we sat down, and at some point he tried to feed me like the food in a really playful way, and I was like, I have not had a sip of alcohol, this is not okay. And then he pulled my hair and tried to get like really kinky with me, and I was like, go away. So I ran away from the date, and then he texted me like Pearl Jam lyrics for a long time, and it was very strange, and I see him on Facebook all the time, and it's great. Okay, bye.
Okay, my worst dating experience, I'll just set the scene real quick. Guy was super in love with, as much as you can be in love with someone in college. Had been seeing each other, I'll use that loosely, for a few months, and then about 4 months in, I found out that he was hooking up with 4 other girls on the swim team, so it ended there.
I met this guy. I knew that he had worked in carpentry. When we went to the train station, I looked at his nails, and they were coated with dirt. And I just kept thinking, was that tattooed on? You know, how long has that been there? And I just couldn't stop thinking about how dirty his hands were. So we went to karaoke, Asian restaurant. We went out to dinner. We had a lot of small talk. I don't even remember. I just kept thinking about his hands. And then at the end of the story, can you believe that he was looking for his credit card, which all of a sudden he couldn't find. And he showed me the bill and said, well, can you help me out with this? I knew that that was the final date. And thanks to Metro PCS, I sent him to the block list, and that was it.